Hello and welcome to a new episode of Trains App, and today we're at Bletchley on the West Coast Mainline. We'll be seeing services from Avanti West Coast, London Northwestern Railway, Southern, and with any luck, some freight as well. It's actually a rush hour film, but you know, we'll gloss over that. First train to pass by will be a pair of Avanti West Coast 221 Super Voyagers. 117 and 105 off to some far and distant land. Once I've actually got myself sorted, I'll then be able to tell you where they were heading. Okay, the next train to pass by would be our trio of Royal Mail 325s going from Willesden to Shieldmere, with 325 001 leading. The 005 and 004. Both rear sets looking remarkably clean. The Avanti West Coast Voyagers were working as service to Birmingham New Street. Okay, the next train to make an appearance will be the 1700 London Northwestern Railway service from Milton Keynes Central to London Euston, worked by a trio of Class 350s. Leading proceedings will be 35116. With 350 111 in the middle. And the rear is worked by X-Transpennine 35405. Marvellous. It should be worth noting you won't be seeing services on the Marston Vale line, as they're being worked by replacement bus services. Okay, to part now will be the 1700 London Northwestern Railway service to London Euston. Okay, the next train to make an appearance will be an Avanti West Coast Class 390 Pendolino going from Blackpool North to London Euston. (39128), going at a gentle pace by their standards. Nice spark from the pantograph though. Okay, I've got a Greater Anglia unit coming through, which I wasn't expecting. (720-554). I didn't even see that on real-time trains at all, so that was a nice surprise. Okay, and coming off from the sidings, which was a complete waste of time, is going to be a GBRF 66 going from Birch Coppice to Felixstowe with 66785. Running fully loaded with a nice colourful mixture of containers, some in somewhat better condition than others, it must be said. But the next train to make an appearance will be another Avanti West Coast Class 390 Pendolino going to, I believe, Edinburgh Waverley. 390-135. Okay, the next train to pass by will be another Avanti West Coast Class 390 going from Manchester Piccadilly to London Euston. The previous 390 was going from London to Manchester. (390-136), and then down there will be the Edinburgh bound service worked by a pair of Avanti West Coast 221 Super Voyagers, which is always good to see. Makes sense to give them a chance to really stretch their legs. (221-110) and (221-107). The Greater Anglia 720 was going from Crewe to Wembley. I initially thought it was a loco convoy movement from DB, but turns out it was the 720, which is why I was confused. Admittedly, it doesn't take much. I mean, if you're regulars to the channel, then you should know that confusion is pretty much part and parcel of every single video that I do. I mean, I've been doing this for so many years now that you would have thought I would have gained some form of professionalism. No. Basically. Okay, the next train to grace us with its presence will be a pair of Southern 377s working a southern service from Milton Keynes Central to Clapham Junction. Leading proceedings is 377-213. And on the rear, perfectly positioned, is 377-210. Could do with a bit of a clean, I must admit. A bit of a hot soapy water on there. And in fact, I do believe, just under there might be some remnants even of feathers. Presumably from El Pigione, who decided to have a conversation with the front end of the train. And I'm going to keep filming because I believe a London Euston to Crewe bound service is about to come through any moment now. 350-371 and 241 with a London Northwestern Railway service bound for, I'll give you a moment to work it out, Crewe. Well done. Okay, and about ready to depart will be the 1717 Southern service to Clapham Junction via just about everywhere. Okay, the next train to pass by will be another pair of London Northwestern Railway Class 350s going from Crewe to London Euston at a fair rate of knots. The 350-370 and ex-Transpennine 409. Okay, the next train to make an appearance will be the 1718 London Northwestern Railway service from London Euston to Northampton, worked by a pair of 319s. Once these 319s have reached Northampton, they will then run empty to the sidings just behind me. So leading the way is 319-457. I'll get the rear when she goes. The livery, the former London Midland colour scheme really works on the 319s. Mind you, the 319s are just good anyway. Okay, then departure now is the 1718 London Northwestern Railway service to Northampton as a pair of Avanti West Coast 221 Super Voyagers will be coming through with a service from Holyhead to London Euston. And on the rear is 319 to 14, a very gentle pull away there. As it currently stands, the sidings in Bletchley are, for the most part, empty, with the exception of a singular Class 350. I think you may just be able to see it. It's, if you look at the 25 mph sign, it's just next to that, tucked behind a vast amount of catenary. So you might be able to see it. Okay, the next train to arrive is going to be the 1727 London Northwestern Railway service from London Euston to Northampton. Can't help but feel that that service is almost pointless, although admittedly that is almost the fastest service, despite the fact the 319s would actually get there beforehand, but it's fine. 352-34 is leading. I'll get the rear two sets when she departs. Doing about turn, we'll find incoming 350-117 leading the 1729 London Northwestern Railway service in from Northampton to London Euston. Marvellous. And then we have an Avanti West Coast Class 390 Penzino heading to some mystical and magical destination with a nice spark from the pantograph as the 1727 London Northwestern Railway service to Northampton is now departing, and breathe. Two 36s in the middle, and a very dirty 113 brings up the rear. Now I want to say that the Avanti West Coast service is off to Liverpool Lime Street, but I will double check that. Okay, the next train to be giving it the beans is going to be another Avanti West Coast Class 390 going from Liverpool Lime Street to London Euston. 390-010, and the previous 390 was indeed heading to Liverpool Lime Street. And again, some lovely sparks as they pass underneath the brand new viaduct for the East-West Rail route. Slowly but surely it's taking shape. Okay, the next train to grace the bend is going to be another Avanti West Coast Class 390 going from Manchester Piccadilly to London Euston. As if it would be going anywhere else. 390-044 with the lion on the front and the back, as that was the unit that attempted to break the speed record from London to Glasgow. Missed out by 21 seconds. So I have no doubt they're going to be repeating that at some stage. I'm led to believe that there was a temporary speed restriction in Carstairs which pretty much scuppered the run. So if that temporary speed restriction wasn't in place, then I dare say they would have done it. But best of luck next time, I say. Okay, the next train to pass by is going to be a Freightliner 66 working an intermodal train from from London Gateway to Garston. .66 532, really not hanging around. As there goes 39129, working an Avanti West Coast service to Glasgow Central. I don't know if the camera could pick it up, but as the 66 was just basically cresting that bend right by where the AWS marker is, it was really bouncing on that corner. Okay, the next train to round the bend will be another Avanti West Coast class 390 Penzino going from Birmingham New Street to London Euston. .013. Will there be a spark? Yes, there will. And away she goes. Okay, the next train to make an appearance will be the 1744 London Northwestern Railway service from London Euston to Milton Keynes Central, worked by a trio of Class 350s. Slowly working our way in. May have to do an about turn here. In fact, I will. As incoming is the 1747 London Northwestern Railway service to London Euston with 352.65 leading. With 101 bringing up the rear. This particular service runs fast from Leighton Buzzard all the way to London Euston, so it crosses over at Leadburn Junction, then hits the down fast line. So it really gets a chance to stretch its legs. I'll get the numbers of these three London Northwestern Railway Class 350s bound for Milton Keynes when she departs. Same to you too. Okay, now departing is going to be the 1744 London Northwestern Railway service to Milton Keynes Central. I guarantee by the time these trains come back to London Euston, I've forgotten what the numbers are. Okay, so we had 351.12, .261 and 124 running with a nice flat wheel. Okay, and about to pass by now will be 391.14 with an Avanti West Coast service bound for Manchester Piccadilly, as the 1747 London Northwestern Railway service to London Euston is now departing. Okay, the next train to run the bend will be another Avanti West Coast Class 390 Penzolino, as if it's going to be anything else, let's be honest here, working a service from Glasgow Central to London Euston. .390.134. Okay, the next train drive is going to be the 1750 London Northwestern Railway service to Birmingham New Street. Yeah, what is coming through here then? Ah, yes, I know. Right, well, leading this is going to be 352.51. I shall get to the rear when she departs. It could do with a rather good clean, it must be said. It's a tad filthy. Mind you, all four cars on that are a tad dirty, but hardly anything surprising there, let's be honest. Okay, the next train to pass by is going to be a Freightliner 66 leading another container train. This one is coming from Trafford Park Euroterminal to Felixstowe North. And it looks like she is fully loaded. So there'll be a decent weight behind her. And I dare suggest there's going to be a fair amount of wind kicked up with this one. This is 66-516. She goes, and that is, I have no idea. I want to say 350-109, but I wasn't wrong with the wind being kicked up from those containers. Again, all various sizes, shapes, colours. Adds a bit of colour to the network, and a bit of colour to what is a very dark, foreboding sky. But in saying that, I've then got blue sky basically above me, so as long as it doesn't rain, wind I can deal with. As long as it doesn't rain, then I'm on to a winner. And 2 pigeons. Because every film I do has to include pigeons, apparently. Okay, the next train to arrive is going to be the 1755 Southern service from Clapham Junction to Milton Keynes Central. I don't quite understand why they aren't doing the East Croydon circuit at the moment, but it works. So, leading the way is going to be 377-201. The rear set I shall get when she leaves. Again, at departing is the 1755 Southern service to Milton Keynes Central. With 377-207 on the rear. Then we have the 391-37 with an Avanti West Coast service bound for Manchester Piccadilly. Something tells me the 390 might just get to Milton Keynes before those 377s. Just got a sneaky feeling. I may as well have not bothered pausing that one, as the next train to pass by will be another Avanti West Coast Class 390 going from Birmingham New Street to London Euston. (390-157). I was doing about turn again, as we're going to have a GBRF Class 66 thundering our way through with a container train from Felixstowe North, from Trafford Park to Felixstowe North. Get it right, you moron. So, giving it what for is 66-701. She's running with almost entirely new container flats, and she's certainly not hanging about, that's for sure. Okay, the next train to arrive is going to be the 1803 London Northwestern Railway service from Milton Keynes Central to London Euston. The fact I have to think about that is greatly concerning. And would you Adam and Eve, I've actually forgotten what these numbers were. Oh, dearie me. Just to recap for my own benefit, you've got 1, 2, 4 leading. Then it's 2, 6, 1. And then was it 1, 1, 2 on the one? Now it's now on the rear. I'm sure it's 1, 1, 2. Please be 1, 1, 2. Please be 1, 1, 2. Yes, it is. Yeah, I saved myself there. I saved myself any and all embarrassment. I'll take it. Okay, our registered partner will be the 1803 London Northwestern Railway service to London Euston. Decent acceleration. Okay, the next train to pass through will be another Avanti West Coast class 390 going from London Euston to Manchester Piccadilly. (390-016). There's something that's flapping about on the coupling mouth on the back of that 390. I can only assume it's a bird of some variation that's been collected at some stage in its travels. Okay, the next train to pass by will be another Avanti West Coast class 390 Pendolino going from London Euston to Glasgow Central. (390-047). Doesn't appear to be going at a busting speed, let's put it that way. And then immediately after that is going to be another Avanti West Coast class 390 going from Edinburgh Waverley to London Euston. (391-26). Will there be any sparks? Yes, there will. Okay, the next train to arrive is going to be the 1818 Southern service from Milton Keynes Central to Clapham Junction, as coming in behind me is also the 1818 London Northwestern Railway service from London Euston to Northampton, worked by a pair of class 319s. Then we have 352.40 with the London Northwestern Railway service bound for Crewe, as that was 377.207 leading. With 201 now being on the rear. Then we have 319.005 leading. I shall get the rear set when she departs. And you might just be able to see them, but just there are the 319s from earlier that have just arrived into the sidings. These two 319s will be doing the exact same. Okay, now departing is the 1818 London Northwestern Railway service to Northampton, as we have a pair of London Northwestern Railway class 350s coming through with a service from Crewe to London Euston. On the rear is 319-012, so it's an all-white affair for the ex-Thameslink services, Thameslink units even. Okay, the next train to pass by will be another Avanti West Coast class 390 Pendolino going from London Euston to Lancaster. Nice, worked by 390-020. Nice sparks to the pantograph as well. Okay, the next train drive is going to be the 1827 London Northwestern Railway service from Northampton to London Euston, worked by a trio of Class 350s. So, leading the way is going to be 350-113. With 234 on the rear and 236 in the middle. Complete with a sticker of some sort. Fascinating. Okay, departing now will be the 1827 London Northwestern Railway service to London Euston. So there goes 118, 115 and 245 for London Northwestern Railway, working a service from London Euston to Northampton. Okay, the next train to make an appearance will be another Avanti West Coast Class 390 going from London Euston to Liverpool Lime Street. Worked by 390-006. And the next train to make an appearance will be another Avanti West Coast Class 390, working a service from Liverpool Lime Street to London Euston. (390-148). And will there be a spark? Yes, there will. Whether or not the camera's actually picking it up, I have no idea, because I'm not actually looking at the camera while filming, which is something you really should do, but I just seem to not to do that. Okay, the next couple of trains to pass by will be an Avanti West Coast Class 390 going from Manchester Piccadilly to London Euston, followed by a DB Cargo UK Class 66 going from Trafford Park to London Gateway. The 390 is 124. And the 66 will be 149. Decent array of colourful containers on board. At the time of recording this, England are currently playing Germany at Wembley, and there's a couple of lads watching it in the flats over there, and they have the loudest yells in the world, and they've been shouting and hollering for the last 2 minutes, which makes me believe that England have just scored because they were going slightly potty. There you go. That's your Euro. That's your Euro 2021 update. I'll check in next time round as well. Okay, the next train to pass by is going to be a pair of Avanti West Coast 221 Super Voyagers working a service to Wrexham General and Holyhead. 221106 and 221116. Okay, the next train to arrive will be the 1841 London Northwestern Railway service from London Euston to Milton Keynes Central, worked by a trio of Class 350s. Leading proceedings is former Transpennine 350-407. And I shall get the rear two sets when she goes. Okay, that's departing is the 1841 London Northwestern Railway service to Milton Keynes Central. In the middle was 352.62, and on the rear is 352.67. Okay, the next train to arrive will be the 1847 London Northwestern Railway service from Birmingham New Street to London Euston. They'll be working the, basically it's a semi-fast service, worked by a single Class 350, which is rare these days, 350-126. And whilst it is completely pointless me actually telling you this, because by the time this goes live it's, you know, already happened, but, you know, just for the sake of it, England are now 2-0 up, courtesy of the lads screaming over there. So it's Raheem Sterling and Harry Kane. Harry Kane actually scored a goal. I know. I can hardly believe it myself. Okay, but ready to depart now will be the 1847 London Northwestern Railway service to London Euston. And then we have an Avanti West Coast Class 390 Pendolino coming down, working a service from London Euston to Manchester Piccadilly. (390-128). Okay, the next train to arrive, as Anne is so delightfully saying, is going to be the 1850 London Northwestern Railway service from London Euston to Birmingham New Street, worked by a pair of Class 350s. Leading proceedings is ex-Transpennine 35409. I shall get to the rear, you'll never guess, when she departs. I know, I can hardly believe it myself. Marvellous. Okay, departing now is the 1850 London Northwestern Railway service to Birmingham New Street. On the rear was 350-370. Okay, we've got two trains coming in here. The first will be a pair of Avanti West Coast 221 Super Voyagers working a service from London Euston to Shrewsbury. (221-101 and 221-112). As we do an about turn to find incoming the 1854 Southern service from Selhurst to Milton Keynes Central. Leading the way with an exceptionally bright front light is 377214. I'll get the rear set when she departs. Okay, now departing is the 1854 Southern service to Milton Keynes Central, just leaving about a minute late, almost an hour later. That would have been something. And on the rear is 377211. In other news, I'm led to believe it's coming home. And the next train to pass by will be another Avanti West Coast Class 390 Pendolino going from London Euston to Glasgow Central. .390.010. Okay, and the next train to arrive is going to be... Don't know why I went into game show host, but it works. The 1900 London Northwestern Railway service from Milton Keynes Central to London Euston, with 352.67 leading proceedings. With 262. A little bit scruffy. And 407. You would have thought I would have been able to remember... Try again. You would have thought I would have been able to remember that, because it wasn't that... My God. Let's go for the third time. Right. You would have thought I would have remembered that, as it wasn't that long ago when these sets worked to Milton Keynes. There we go. Okay, about ready to depart now will be the 1900 London Northwestern Railway service to London Euston. Okay, the next train to make an appearance will be another Avanti West Coast Class 390 going from Blackpool North to London Euston. .391.55, then we have a northbound service going somewhere north, because it's going north. .391.36. I shall do some investigations and let you know where she is going. Okay, the next round to round the bend will be another Avanti West Coast... Oh, blimey. An Avanti West Coast Class 390 Pendolino. I'll get there eventually. Going from Glasgow Central to London Euston. The previous 390 was bound for Manchester Piccadilly. And that's worked by 390.042. Okay, the next train to make an appearance will be another Avanti West Coast Class 390 Pendolino going from London Euston to Crewe, followed by a DB Cargo UK Class 66 working the water train from Dollonsmore to Daventry. Sees the return of 390.044. Do an about turn and we will then find 66.158. That's making one hell of a racket. Okay, our final train of the day is going to be a Freightliner 66 leading a container train over an hour and 3/4 late from Felixstowe North to Lawley Street. It was held in Shenfield for an hour and 3/4. It just will not make that time back up again. So, giving it what for will be 66,523. And then we have (39151) with the Avanti West Coast service from Manchester Piccadilly to London Euston, just to round things off. And as they both head north and south, I shall leave it there. Thank you all very much for watching, it is greatly appreciated. If you have enjoyed what you've seen today, then please do like and subscribe. Feel free to leave a comment. I do go back to them as and when I get the opportunity to. I have thoroughly enjoyed filming here at Bletchley. It's an amazing station to come to. It's a pity that the services of the Marston Vale line weren't running, but not much you can do about that. Oh look, London Northwestern want the last say in the matter. Of course they do. (101) and 265 with the service for crew. But my next rush hour film will be from Milton Keynes Central. It's been a long old time since I've filmed from there, so it'll be nice to just head 5 minutes up the line and just get a different feel for things, as it's a completely different layout to Bletchley. It's a great station to go to and one that I must do more often. So, until next time, from me here at Bletchley, I shall see you all later. Take care, guys. Goodbye.